What's up, everybody? Good evening, good afternoon. Shout outs to those of you that see the replay. This is Gina Ifoe, the one and only African superstar, with another live stream. I want to first give a big shout out to the customers at africansuperstar.com. Yes, much love to all of you that continue to shop with the one and only. We've been in business for over 3 years, no complaints. A lot of people talk about how they love their products, and a lot of people have shopped with us on multiple occasions. So big shout outs to all the customers at africansuperstar.com. I just want to show y'all some love. Next but not least, big shout outs to the members only who are designated by the circle next to their name. They are the monthly sponsors of our platform. I deeply appreciate all that you do. So I always take a little moment out to acknowledge you. And big shout outs, last but not least, to the lovers of the African Superstar Music Project. So as we wait for the room to fill up, please, you do know the protocols. Make sure you like the stream. Make sure you greet me in the chat room. And I'll be right back after this message from our sponsors. Big shout outs to the family.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only African Superstar proudly presents the release of her first EP entitled For Every Action, There Is a Reaction, as well as this music video, which is available here on YouTube for the title track. The track is also available for streaming on all download platforms, and the EP is exclusively available for purchase at bandcamp.com. Please support independent artists, and please support your African Superstar. Until we meet again.
Yes, everybody, that song is not a surprise to the African Superstar music lovers. They know that is the title track off of my recent EP that I dropped on New Year's Day. So please get your copy. Special shout outs to Max. He left a comment talking about how he loves Shades. Shades is one of my new tracks that's currently unreleased on all the other streaming platforms. So if you purchase the EP, you can get 3 new exclusive tracks that are not available on the streaming sites. Okay, so much love to the family. Big shout outs. Brown Coat Blue is the first one in the building. I see you. Please do the necessary, guys. Leave me a message in the chat and be on code. Today's topic is, I know y'all don't listen to me. I know y'all don't listen to me for a fact. But I want to offer my sincerest advice to you. You know, one thing is that although I know you know, a lot of times I'm preaching to the choir, and or a lot of people that are coming across my content are just, you know, they're just stubborn and not receiving it. There's always like a few of us that are whistleblowers, and then, you know, the masses, it's difficult to get through to them. But I want to say, in lieu of everything that's currently going on, like in current events, for those of you guys that have not kind of been paying abreast, paying attention to a lot of the things that is going on, I just want to kind of give you my perspective. Like, if I were in your shoes, if I were still in the West right now, what I would be doing, how I would be thinking, and so on and so forth. Like I mentioned, there's a lot of stuff going on right now worldwide. There's been earthquakes all across the world. Obviously, we know about some of the chemical fires, the derailments that have been happening in America. Also, the mass shootings in America, like the highest they've ever been as recorded this year. We see that military tensions are rising between Russia, North Korea, and the U.S. And all of these things are happening at one time. And I would say that if I were still in the U.S., you know, thank God I'm not, but if I were, I would be trying to get the hell up out of there. So my message is to those of you that have been working on your evacuation plans, those of you that have already started trying to put the framework of what would you do in a worst case scenario. One of the most important things about that situation is being able to identify that the situation is upon you. And that requires you kind of being, a little clairvoyant, you being quick-witted, you being able to, react at the appropriate time and all of that stuff. Those things will combine is going to help you get out of harm's way. If you're in a position, I would advise that you vacate the U.S. right now. That's what I would tell you. Even if, right now you can manage to just get away for a few months, you can maybe take a leave of absence from your job or work remotely, or, for some of you guys that have been working with these jobs for 20 years, 30 years, you might have a lot of holiday accumulated or whatever. My advice would be, it's just such a hot time right now in the US, for real. A lot's going on. And I would, if I wasn't in a position to totally bounce, okay, then I would definitely want to just take a temporary reprieve from the situation, because, and kind of just see how this thing plays out and if it calms down. For those of you that have already kind of started the process, like maybe you've bought land in a foreign land, you're doing a building project and all that stuff, and you feel like, oh, I just need to, I need to work like 1 more year. I need 5 more years to get everything in place. I would say that, try your best to get the necessities that you need, like the bare necessities. I know some people here in Ghana, for instance, they're working on housing projects. The house is not completely finished, but they're like, you know what, once I get some power in the house, once I get the windows installed, once I get this and that, I'm moving in. And we're just going to work on it as we go. That kind of thing. The warning signs are on the wall. And again, I know y'all don't really listen to me. I know y'all don't listen to anyone. But I'm just offering my sincere advice of what I would do. One of the reasons that I vacated the U.S., I felt like it was ridiculous even back then when I was, in the process. When I was preparing to migrate to the U.K., I was in a haste. I was anxious. I was just like, I need to get out of here. At that time, it wasn't kind of like a military kind of concern, but it was just like the quality of life concern. But now, if you are paying attention again to current events, I just got a notification prior to this broadcast that North Korea has launched some missiles. And North Korea, they're kind of like a little antagonistic. You know what I mean? So they're trying to show their military strength and all of that stuff. And the reality is, guys, that, by the time you got a formal warning or anything like that from your government or your state officials, it's going to be dire by then. You don't want to be in that situation where you're getting the message and it's just too late. It's always better to be proactive. Nobody ever regrets being ready for a situation. Nobody ever regrets that. Nobody ever says, oh my God, I got ready for this, 2 years early. Oh my gosh, I'm early to the program. Oh my goodness, I was able to get this opportunity because I was ready. No, people always lament about not being ready. People always lament about it being too late. And, I knew that I should do this or do that. And some of you guys, this message won't resonate to all of you, but some of you that see this, it's going to resonate to you because there's something inside of you, that is saying to you, I need to do something. I do realize, like, in the US, it's coming upon tax time, I believe. Some of you guys will be getting your tax returns. Some of you guys are like, Gina, I just, I'm living check to check. I haven't been able to do anything. Well, you might want to try to make something happen. Because in my opinion, with everything that's happening, if I was in your shoes, if I was in Ohio right now I would be exercising this very same advice. I'll be trying to get the hell up out of there. Even if it meant I could only travel for like 6 months when I leave. If I only had like 6 months of resources to come to Ghana. It's better for me to come and be up out of the epicenter and kind of watch how things play out than to be in that situation. Big shout out to the family. Hey guys, if you're here, leave me some in the chat room. We got almost 20 of you guys. Hello. I see like 2 in the chat room. Are you guys okay? Hello. Jeez. Brown Coat Blue says, people think this stuff is a joke. Tanks are on the way to Ukraine, and now there's a lot of talk in the U.S. Congress pushing for fighter jets. And I did a message the other day about if someone lies to you, would you continue to trust them? We know definitively for a fact that by the time important information hits the American public or the British, you know what I mean? I think this is also relative to countries that are allies to the U.S., I mean, by the time this stuff goes on, it's going to be too late, guys. It's going to be too late. My sincerest advice to you is it's better to be safe than sorry. I have literally been coming here for years now, advising you on the dangers of the West and, all that kind of stuff, promoting the continent to you. I mean, even if, for instance, you're not in a position to come to the continent, check out Mexico, check out Canada, maybe South America, Asia. Well, cause see, if Korea gets up in this, that whole China, that whole Asian world is going to be off the hook. Maybe you can go to like India. I don't know what the currency exchange is in India, but basically, if a war pops off and tensions are rising, as they say, tensions are rising in regards to all these like military conflicts between the U.S. and Russia, China, North Korea, and all this kind of stuff. Asia probably not going to be an ideal place to be either, to be honest. Because you got Japan, you got China, you got Korea. I'm pretty sure like Vietnam, they're also not on good terms with the West. I don't know if they want to jump in there and get on with North Korea. Like, yeah, we got beef with y'all after that Vietnam War. I don't know, but I know the place where I live is like, I can't say it's the only continent, because from what I understand, the South America also was not involved in the world wars. But I know that Africa was not. So this, because we're not really involved in all of that. We don't really have military. Now, obviously, there will be some dumb Africans, yes, both in the West and both here from the continent, that will probably volunteer to get in the middle of somebody else's business. It ain't gonna be me though. I'll tell you that. I definitely would never fight on the behalf of any of these countries, like ever. But yeah, that's tonight's message. What's up, family? Are you guys here? All right, I'm gonna go ahead and open the call lines today. Yes, I'm gonna give you guys an opportunity to call in and share your comments about the current events that's happening right now. I had some people putting on my video that I did about this smog that's been here in Ghana for several days, telling me that it's the Harmattan. It's not the Harmattan. I've been living here for a few years now. I know the difference between Harmattan and what is going on. And a lot of you guys that are saying, oh, Gina, it's just the Harmattan, you're not even in Ghana. Okay? You're just talking, regurgitating, blah, blah, blah. Because everybody that I've talked to that's here in Ghana is like, yeah, this weather is strange. This is abnormal. This doesn't seem like Harmattan. This isn't making sense. So tonight, I'm just sharing my most sincere advice for those of you abroad. I believe that this is the time that you need to activate your evacuation plans. You know, I would advise you to make the move beforehand. If your soul is telling you it's time to bounce, you know, and human nature is always like, oh, but I need a little bit more money. I'm not ready yet. I'm this, I'm that, blah, blah, blah. I want to work, you know, I can retire in 2 more years. Like I said, there's ways to finagle it. Maybe you take a temporary leave of absence, tell your doctor, hey, I'm having a psychotic break. I need a mental health, period away from my job. Whatever, you got all that VTO, PTO at your job that you was like, okay, when I retire, I'm going to cash in this holiday money and go ahead and use it. Take 2 months off, take 3 months off, get up out of the States right now. A lot is going on. And it's not commonplace. And if you are like, well, Gina, I don't know what you're talking about, then I suggest that you start doing some independent research. There's been a lot of strange happenings going on in the U.S. since the beginning of the year, which include over 12 train derailments, a lot of chemical fires. I mean, almost every day, either a chemical plant is going up in flames or there's a derailed train. That's not normal. 2 weeks ago, you had the JFK terminal, one of the busiest airports in the world, definitely in the United States. There was a cyber attack. They had no power, no computer usage. Terminal 1 was down for days in New York City, which is like unheard of. You have currently, Sarah C keeps me abreast, over 80 mass shootings currently in the U.S. This is projected to be the most deadliest year in America already. And we're not even at the end of February. Not to mention the earthquakes all over the place. Yesterday there was earthquakes in Malaysia. There was one in China, minor. And then Turkey's been hit with 2 massive earthquakes in the past 2 weeks. And then you have the military tensions rising. Guys, you need to pay attention to all this stuff. I have not been coming here on YouTube for years advising you for, my health. It's not like, okay, I'm going to get a great respiratory workout when I come and talk to my channel. No, I've been providing this information to help you formulate and ultimately implement your game plan. Because I feel that the West is inherently dangerous, to the point I can't even be there. I can't even be there for any semblance of time. With me seeing all these current events that's happening, like I said, the most recent thing was something that I saw right before I made this video, which is North Korea has fired missiles, and the analyst said that this is like a flex of military power. They recently had some kind of military parade in North Korea, and they brought out all their nuclear weapons and they were showing it to the crowd. And, they're basically trying to make a statement. Okay. And ain't no enemy to North Korea like America, and Americans have kind of been fortunate all this time to not really have combat on their turf. When they have engaged in a lot of these wars and interventions and stuff, they have gone and done it on foreign lands. But consequently, with this military tensions rising, you're also seeing very strange and unusual things happening in America. And my only wish is that you guys will see it for what it is and do the necessary. Because when this stuff pops off, very few of us have ever lived or understood what wartime is like. Okay. Everything that you're accustomed to is subject to change. One of those things is going to be the way you travel. Yeah. Because for those of you in America, unless you want a road trip to Mexico or Canada, unless you've already worked out your immigration to those countries, because anything's possible. This stuff goes down, they can shut their borders and say, we don't want the Americans coming here, like what they did during COVID. I understand people were trying to go to Canada, when Trump's election and stuff, they didn't have their immigration worked out to go. You need to consider and think about all of these things, all these moving parts, everything that you use on a daily basis. If something pops off in the US and they go to war, for instance, airspace is going to be protected because of war. So that probably means that commercial flights will be grounded because of the potential, threat of enemy attacks. So when that happens, unfortunately, because, Black people haven't, decided to do any cruise liners, or there's no direct, options by sea to get to the continent, how you gonna get out? And some of you guys have kind of been foolish because you're like, oh, I'm in America. I don't need to think about that stuff. We the biggest, baddest country on the block. Nobody's going to attack us. Nobody's going. Okay, well, in my personal theory, all of these chemical situations that have been happening in the US, in my opinion, that's a form of war. That's chemical warfare. Let's go ahead and blow up these chemical plants. Let's derail some trains. Let's cause some spills. It's going to go into the atmosphere. It's going to go into the drinking, water. It's going to affect thousands and millions of Americans. That's an attack. But so many people are like in La La Land, like Brown Coat Blue said, they think it's a game. They think it's funny. So that's why I'm just coming and telling you, if I was in your shoes right now, I would be evacuated. Yeah. And if I had 3 months, 6 months of savings or whatever, I would be like, okay, you know what? Let me just take a step back, and go ahead and just see how things play out. If it calms down in the next couple months, then, whatever, maybe you go back, whatever. But I'm telling you, it's better for you not to be there when this stuff is popping off than for you to be there and then be trying to get rescued and you be trying to scramble. Now there's no planes. Now the borders are closed. Now, it's a different level. Some of y'all still don't have your passports, and let me tell you, to come to the continent as it stands, you need a visa. So that means even if you just hop on a plane, you can't just roll up over here and enter the countries. It takes preparation. And that's what you guys should be doing immediately. If you're hearing this message and you're like, oh my God, Gina, I've been, procrastinating and I'm just completely, absolutely not prepared. Well, then you need to get busy right here, right now. It's so serious. Maybe you take out an equity loan on your house. Maybe you max out your credit cards. Maybe you cash in your 401k. I mean, you got to look at this situation as if it is a war situation, And I think if you knew definitively, okay, they're going to war on Friday, would you joke with it? Would you still be like, let me see what happens? Or would you be like, let me get the hell up out of here? But see, the revolution is not going to be televised. So they're never going to tell you until it's too late. By the time they tell you that it's on, that these countries have declared war or however they're going to go about it, trust me, you're not going to want to be there when it goes down. Big shout out to the family. Guys, if you're here, let me see you in the chat. We got 30 people here and we have like 5 people in the chat. The math is not adding up. What's up, guys? And I've also opened the call lines up because I have not done a call-in show in probably like a long time, maybe even close to a year. So this is your opportunity. If you have anything to add on this topic, feel free, click the link in the chat. You guys can also support the stream, huh? Yes. We got 30 of you guys. If I could get a 5 on it from y'all, even half, that would be great. Because, you know, I'm warning you guys ahead of the cusp. Because, see, y'all see, I'm already out. I'm already out. I seen the danger a long time ago. And it's although I'm very concerned for you guys, I'm concerned for my family, it's also very comforting for me to be removed from it directly, to be honest. I mean, the clouds rolled up on me here in Accra, and I was not happy about the clouds, but chemical fires and derailed trains and mass shootings and earthquakes and everything that's going on out there, I'm so happy that I'm like, okay, at least I've already set up shop here in Ghana. I've acclimated myself, you know what I'm saying? I'm being proactive has its rewards, guys. Yeah, being proactive has its rewards. Because nobody has ever said, I regret being prepared for this situation that confronted me. What's up? S.A. Smith is in the building. What's up, family? This too, Brown Coat Blue talks about the Chinese spy balloons. So in addition to Russia and North Korea, you got China sending balloons over. It's crazy. It's crazy. The writing is on the wall, guys. And so I've just come once again in vain to try to appeal to you guys and say, hey, if I was in your shoes, this is what I would do. Now, I'm not the end all be all, but I've been pretty good. I've been pretty good at forecasting the stuff. Let me be real. I'm not a meteorologist, but I've been very good at seeing into the future, so to speak. What is happening, you know, right now in the Western world, it's concerning. And those of you that have been, you know, trying to get yourself together. And I mean, obviously, I know I have currently migrated twice. I know what it's like when it's like you want to get all your ducks in a row. You know, maybe you set this goal. Okay, I want to save $50,000. I want to have $100,000. This kind of stuff. I want to, you know, finish my project. I want to buy land. I want to do all this kind of stuff. Let me just tell you a little story about the African Superstar. Okay, for some of you guys that don't know who I am. So once I was living in the UK, I made a decision around 2018 that I was going to actually migrate to Ghana. It came after a friend of mine, you know, made a profound statement to me about I was always trying to import Ghana to, you know, the UK, for instance, and maybe I'd just be better off if I went back home. And it was very profound, but it was very valid. So at that point, I began to plan my migration, which I gave myself 2 years, which is the same amount of time I used once I got my British passport in the US to move to the UK. So during that time, I went through a lot of ups and downs. You know, I got sacked from my job because of my YouTube platform. Obviously, the COVID lockdowns came and, you know, borders were shut. And at that point, you know, when COVID came, I had to ask myself the question, because the original plan that how I was supposed to be living here in Ghana was I had planned I would do 6 months here and 6 months in the UK until I felt that I was stable enough to be here full time. Well, what happened was when the borders shut, I had a talk with myself. And I said, Gina, you know, I took an analysis of the situation, and I knew that this more or less was like a drill. You know, it was the first time in the world that international borders have been closed. There was never a time that I ever thought that I could not travel if I wanted to. And I realized that I was restricted to, you know, this American passport, this British passport. At the time, I wanted to go to Ghana. I couldn't go to Ghana because I needed a visa and the embassies were shut. So I asked myself the question that, okay, you know, although I wanted to do 6 months in the UK and 6 months in Ghana, I'm going to fully move when the borders open up, you know. And at that point, that was March. The border shut of March of 2020. And I started preparing myself that when the borders open, whenever the borders open, that I was going to bounce, because I was very uncertain about the whole COVID thing and everything. And I deduced that, you know what, in a worst case scenario, I'd rather be on the continent than in these Western nations. And some of you guys were in America, and when the border shut, you realized, oh my God, I can't get anywhere because of the sea. You know, there was no way to get across the sea to get to Africa. You know, I calculated it down. Some of you guys might remember, I actually Googled walking instructions. I was ready to walk if need be to get down to Ghana. It would take me, I think it was about a week or two by foot to do it. And I was like, hey, if you ain't nothing to it but to do it, you know what I mean? I don't go to this gym for nothing. But for those of you in America, if those borders shut, you need to ask yourself, what's the game plan? You really, really, really do. What are you going to do if war breaks out in your backyard? It's a very real reality. You know, what are you going to do if the next train that gets derailed is at your hometown? And your hometown is contaminated, and the water is contaminated, and it goes into the air, and it's in the soil. What are you going to do? These are the things you need to calculate, because a lot of our people are very, very narcissistic. They see what happens to people around them, and somehow they feel like, oh, that's not going to happen to me. I never imagined that a train would derail in Ohio and you know, put my family members in harm's way, because it affects their drinking water, it affects their atmosphere. You know, even that plume of smoke that they put into the sky, I personally believe it has rolled on over here to Ghana. Because like I said, a lot of people are like, oh, it's Harmattan. This is not Harmattan season weather. No, nothing. This is unusual weather. People that are here in Ghana is like, no, this is not usual Harmattan. You know, but because I'm very attentive and clairvoyant, and I pay attention to what's happening, and I had a message to you guys the other day about trusting mainstream media. Alexa says, emergency flight housing fund. Create relationships with Africans where you are. I mean, I'm pretty sure that if you get here, if it's a situation, you know, there are many ways to be looked after. But again, I want to say that it's always better to be proactive than reactive. Because let me just tell you, let me just give you a scenario. Okay? Let's say that the Koreans say, you know what? We just sent these missiles out and we're going to blow up San Francisco. Okay? Let's just say you're in California. Let's say you're in Vegas. Let's say you're in Arizona. You know, from what I understand, those missiles, they have a really big radius as to who they can affect. And then there's radiation and all this kind of stuff. At that point, people would probably start scrambling, right? They would be trying to get out of there. They'd be trying to buy flights. The cost of flights would be astronomical. You probably couldn't find resources at the shops. People would be fighting at the shops, buying bottled water, buying survival, you know, utilities and all that stuff. You've got to think about this stuff ahead of time, guys, to stay on top of it. You know, and if I'm wrong, you know, it's better to be safe than sorry. It's better for you to come and take 3 months, come over here to Ghana, let things calm down. You go to Mexico, you rent the Airbnb for 6 months, you work remotely, you just, you know, you just step back and assess the situation. That's what I'm currently doing. You know, I was in the process of planning my next trip to the US and visit my family. In lieu of everything, I put that at the back burner. And I'm like, let me see how stuff plays out before I go into the inferno, because I tell you what, I'll be mad if I leave the comfort of Ghana to go get in the middle of some drama in the US. Bruh. So this is my sincerest advice to the family. You know, I've never prepared a message like this before, where, you know, I literally feel that it's urgent. I literally feel like if I was there right now, the advice that I'm giving you, I would be implementing it in my own situation. You know, I would be implementing it in my own situation, because unlike some of you guys, I don't like to be in the middle of the drama. And I'd rather be, you know, ahead of the 8 ball than be behind it. Big shout outs. Okay, guys. Well, you guys, I don't know why everybody's just watching me. Nobody's calling in. Nobody, you know, we got 30 of you guys here. Bruh. Okay, trivia question. Are you guys there? 1 or 2? 1 is yes, 2 is no. 1 or 2. Are you in the chat room today? What's up, family? Otherwise, I'm going to be wrapping up this episode soon, because, I mean, I really can't elaborate more than it's time to go. It's time to roll out. Big shout outs. Okay, we got a few of y'all there. All right. Okay, because I was just like, are these numbers? Have the Russians hacked my live stream? And they giving me these erroneous numbers or what? But in all seriousness, guys, I hope that you have been listening to me. And I really hope in most case scenarios that you have been readying yourself. Again, if you're in that situation where you're like, let me say you're like 80% ready to make your move. You know, because I definitely know what it's like. What's up, Elder Saying? I see you there. Big shout outs, family. Tony Africa, I see you, brother. I know what it's like. I've migrated twice so far, you know, and sometimes you really have to ask yourself the questions, you know, is it necessary? You know I want to make that $5,000 more. You know, can I cut back on whatever it is that I'm trying to do? Thank you so much for that super chat. The chat room has become alive. Amen. Hallelujah. Thank God. Because I'm only ever coming here to save y'all. I'm not trying to be funny, but I'm on the other side. You know, if I was that selfish kind of person, I would just be like, well, they don't listen. So, you know, just let me leave it. You know, what will be, will be. Because certainly your governors ain't coming here and saying, hey, guys, get yourself ready for worst case scenario. Your white friend from the office is not telling you. You know, your other YouTube friends, hello, they're not telling you, yo, look, if I was in your shoes, this is what I would be trying to do right now. You know, it's me continually coming here. Hey, guys, why should I really be care? I mean, you know, why should I really care what's going on over there? I mean, I know I got family and everything, but I'm just being honest. I'm reaching out to you guys because I know that you're there and, you know, you need to get out. What's up, Michelle Marsh? Much love from our members only. Good to see you. Good to see you. Prince Ayoko, I'll put the Momo number here for you. That's for you, Prince Ayoko. You can send it there. Just let me know, and then I'll text my my contact and let them know it's coming through. Yes, big shout out to the family. Tonight, I'm just sharing my sincere opinion about what I would do if I was still in the West at this time. It's time to activate your evacuation plan. Tensions are rising with this whole military thing, and then you have chemical fires and blah, blah, blah. Momo is used in Ghana. There's different money transfers. Like I know in Kenya they use M-Pesa. I'm not sure what they use in Nigeria, but obviously Prince Ayoko's here in Ghana, so he's asking for my Momo details. But they have different mobile transfer, you know, depending on the country. It's not all called mobile. It's not all called Momo, but Momo stands for mobile money. So that's what that means. Momo, if y'all didn't know, Momo. Electronic money. So yes, that's the message tonight, guys. I appreciate you for tuning in, and for all of you guys that are in the chat room and everything. Yes, yes, it's an African cash app. That's right. It's mobile money. So basically, you get it through your mobile, you know, company. Like mine is MTN. But they also have Airtigo, they have Vodafone Cash, and you know, you set it up at the actual mobile. It's not like a bank or anything like that. It's done through your mobile carrier. And then, you know, you set it up, and then people can you can send money to people and they can send money to you. Yes, it's very convenient. It's a very popular way of making payments here in Ghana. And, you know, I'm sure other places, I know, for instance, in Kenya, it's called M-Pesa. Their system, but you know, everybody has different names. If we have any Nigerians in here, they can probably tell you what it's called in Nigeria, but here in Ghana we call it Momo. Okay, Shoshana says Uganda has Momo Pay. Also, it's a virtual wallet on your mobile phone. Look at her with the full definition. I see you, Shoshana. You see I was choked up there trying to explain it. I was like, mobile money. Yes. Okay, Elder Saint says Nigeria is POS, which is probably short for point of sale. So they use the POS system in Nigeria, M-Pesa in Kenya. They have Momo Pay in Uganda. So yeah, it's all across the continent. Yes, I know. Yes. So it's a very convenient service. Now, I don't think it probably works country to country, you know, because some people don't realize like the continent, it's not states, it's like totally different countries. Even though there are some companies that are cross country lines, such as like MTN, Vodafone, then they operate in many different nations, but you know, the operating systems are for each specific country. So if you want to send money, you know, between countries, you can utilize stuff like World Remit, Sendwave, what's that other one? MoneyGram, Western Union, like an actual money wiring system. Yes. Okay, guys. Big shout outs to the family. I'm happy that you guys are here. I hope that you guys are safe wherever you are. I really hope that a good fraction of you guys have already been planning for your evacuation, and you know you're just about there. I think I was talking about, I know what it's like when you are trying to migrate and you want to get all your ducks in a row, and you're just like, I know, but trust me, it's better for you to sometimes just make that leap. You know, if I were in a situation right now where I was on the 6 months here in Ghana and then the 6 months in the UK, I wouldn't really necessarily be comfortable with that at this point, because actually when I go to the UK after like 2 months, I'm fed up and I'm ready to go. You know, so even though it was a leap and I've had some ups and downs and stuff here in Ghana, minor, I'm so happy that I've put my base here. You know, I was talking to a good friend of mine. This was a while ago, probably maybe a few months ago. And he's from Ghana and lives in the UK and stuff like that. My good friend Muta. Big shout outs to Muta. Elder Saint, thanks for stopping by, sweetheart. Hit that gym, baby. She going to get the workout in. Good job. Yes, good job. It's better to be proactive. That's what I'm talking about tonight. So basically, you know, he was telling me, I was having a conversation with him and I was telling him, like, you know, at times I posted a vlog earlier today and I kind of talked about how, you know, some of us feel like, man, I could have been in a better situation here. I could have been further along here. And, you know, I'm behind the 8 ball and I'm not settled. I don't have my land and I don't have my house and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, he reiterated to me that, Gina, you know, you have done something remarkable. You know, you're living in a foreign land. You know, you have become acclimated. You have put your base there. You know, you eat the local food. You're familiar with what's happening. He said, you know, there are some Ghanaians that are living abroad that haven't been home in 10 or 15 years. You are even farther along than that. You know, there are people living in the West that wish they could come and spend extensive time in Ghana, but they haven't set themselves up, or they're anchored to the West, or they have kids in the West and all this stuff. So, you know, it's important that sometimes you got to take that leap of faith, because everything's not always going to be exactly perfect, especially with the world we're living in right now. It's so volatile. You know, every day something's going on. You know, Bill Gates is talking about the next pandemic. And, you know, I mean, it's difficult to really forecast, okay, 10 years from now. I think we were in a more consistent period of time prior to 2020. You know, I'd say probably like the decade before 2020. So from 2010 to 2020 was kind of consistent. You know, not a lot of fluctuation from year to year. And you could easily say, okay, you know what, I'm going to do this for 4 or 5 years and get ready for the future. I mean, these, like, for instance, these 3 years since 2020, totally volatile, not knowing what's going on. You know, here in Ghana, the currency is fluctuating. You have, I mean, just a lot of things going on. It's difficult to have that long-term view, which means that you need to be able to assess the situation you're in and make the best decision in that situation. You know, I know you wanted to save the 20,000, but you got 13,000 saved up. Can you do something with that? That's the question you got to ask yourself. You know, I know you had the 10-year plan, but right now is the move. Everything in politics. Hey, honestly, I don't think it'll be en masse. Everything in politics says, hey, folks just got here. What's the advice, y'all? Are we relocating en masse? My advice to my audience right now is, if you have been preparing for an evacuation or your life somewhere else, that you need to go ahead and activate that plan. Because if I was still living abroad right now, you know, especially in America, but I mean, this message is also relevant to the UK, because whatever situations America finds themselves in, you know, because the UK is in bed with America, basically, then, you know, thank you, GBL, for that super chat. Big shout out to the family. You know, so the message is, yeah, get out, basically. And I'm just telling the family, because I know, I mean, obviously, I think if you guys haven't made the leap yet, you have your reasons for maybe why you haven't. Hopefully, you're not just been procrastinating, because, I mean, I don't know how much more hostile it needs to be in the West for you to get the message, but hopefully you have been preparing. You do have a little savings. You have got your passport. If you're interested in the continent, you have ventured here and seen it, you know, for yourself. Or maybe some of you guys have bought land or started projects or whatever. You know, you're in motion. Because it's a process, and I understand that. But my thing is that this is the time now, for those of you that have been readying yourself, when you look at your situation and say, can I do it? Can I bounce right now? you know, or maybe you're like, you wanted to cover your first year's expenses abroad. But now you look at your resources and you're like, oh my God, I can only afford to do 6 months right now. Can you make that move? Are you ready? You know, you're looking at yourself and you're like, ooh, like I said, I gave the example. You really wanted $20,000. Now you have $13,000 saved. Are you going to keep rolling the dice and say, okay, I need to work at least 6 more months? Well, I don't know. I don't know what 2023 is going to look like, but I know that based on how this year is going, it's looking very risky, especially with this military stuff that's going on. So if I was you and I wasn't in a full-time position to bounce, I would at least try to evacuate some few months and just see how it goes down for a distance. And I mean, again, ideally, you want to look at maybe the continent, maybe not Ghana, or maybe rural Ghana. If your money is tight, you ain't going to be able to hang here in a crowd with the big boys. I'm just keeping it real, expensive out here. You know, look at some other countries, you know, go look out in the East, Kenya, you know, Uganda. I think Rwanda's kind of expensive, but I'm not sure. You know, there's a lot of countries to potentially just go and just be ducked off, you know, or if now you like, you know what, let me just get my land. I know I was with Sister Yah a couple weeks ago. I got a vlog coming to the channel, and she went with a lady who bought land. I believe the land was about $3,000 or something like that. So in that case, if you got $13,000, you know, you could buy your land, you know, start your farm, you know, put a little concrete structure on it, and go as you go. You know, because at the end of the day, what you don't want to do is find yourself in the middle of a situation. You see, and that's what I'm always worried about, because let's be honest, these Western countries, you know, they're aggressive. They like war. They like conflict. You know, that's their language. Okay? I don't want to be caught up in none of their stuff, because it had nothing to do with me. You know, I'll be damned if I'm in the UK and a missile comes and I get blowed up, or I get some shrapnel, all for something that I didn't even have nothing to do with. Because if y'all take me to the White House or the Parliament, I'm going to be like, you guys are tripping. Why are you worried about what they're doing all the way over there in their country? We have all this stuff going on over here. That's what I would say. And I'll be like, all this money you're sending to Ukraine and all this that you're doing could be better spent right here in your backyard, solving the problems of your own citizens. But see, they don't want to hear from me. But I would be mad to be involved in their wahala. I don't want to be in their countries when stuff pops off and it starts directly affecting me. You feel me? Man, my phone is just blowing up. Big shout outs. Oh, wow. Thank you. Thank you. I just got a text message. Prince Ayoko sent a nice little nest egg to my homegirl. Thank you so much. Big shout outs, man. Thanks to the family for showing some financial support to the African superstar. After all, I'm just trying to forewarn y'all. Zoo and Shayna says, we just finished remodeling our condo to lease for short-term, mid-term stays. This is part of our Africa plan. Good for you. Alexa says, Uber Eats deliveries part-time, make $100 per night. That's from my own playbook. You know what I'm saying? I did Uber to raise my money to move to the UK. I drove Uber for 2 good years, and $100 was my daily, you know, take home that I needed to receive. So I'm living proof that you can do something off of Uber. But at this point, I don't know if you got 2 good years to invest. But if you're trying to hustle right now, and get some money, you can do Uber. You can do, I used to donate plasma. You know what I mean? You can go donate plasma twice a week. The last time I was in America, they was paying really good for that plasma, like probably almost $100 per visit. So if you need to get a few stacks up, you can probably do that within the next 3-4 months, but you need to do something, move out of that expensive apartment, downgrade, try to find something cheap. If you got a friend that's also on their Africa plan, Mexico plan, get the hell out of US plan, y'all moving together, you know what I'm saying? Like some of the foreigners, they do be 5 people in that little apartment and they be paying $100 a month or whatever, sharing the rent. Get creative. The time is upon us for you to start exercising your survival. Don't be waiting once, you dropped a bomb on me. Because once that happens, once formal conflict has started, in my opinion, I think that these chemical derailments and fires, it's not a coincidence that all this stuff is just popping off right now. America has a lot of foreigners there. They got Chinese people there. They got Russians there. They got Koreans there. You know what I mean? They got disgruntled Americans there. They got a lot of people that could be doing this from the inside. But whatever. They got the Al Qaeda and the what's the other one? ISIS. They got everybody is over in the US. They got these Ukrainians. So once it's formal, then everything's going to get scarce. Water, survival stuff. And it's only a matter of time that they would restrict commercial airlines. Again, I don't know specifically war, but I do know that unidentified flying objects in the sky, can be either targets or can be weapons. So I doubt they're going to still be operating that JFK to Accra every day in the middle of war. I don't think so. Or that London to Accra, British Airways. Nah, you guys got to think far. So this is the time probably to step back and say, okay, let me observe the situation from a distance. Trust me, you will never regret being prepared. You will never regret. You will never be like, oh my God, I can't believe Gina was talking that stuff, whatever. No. For any of you guys that have ever taken any of my advice on this channel, do you regret it? Have you ever come to this channel, be like, Gina don't know what the hell she's talking about. So I don't know what she's saying. No. What I receive from my audience is a lot of love, a lot of appreciation, a lot of support, a lot of well wishes. That means that, the advices I'm passing along to them have been valuable to them and have been effective to them. So I'm not going to beat y'all over the head. I would say that this is, this is my very stern and loving and concerning warning to you. Just telling you what I would do if I were in your shoes. I would not joke with it. I would not play with it. I would not procrastinate and be like, oh no, it's not serious. Some people feel like because the mainstream media is not alerting you guys to what's happening, that it's not that serious. It's very serious. Black Beauty says, now reading on CNN about food rationing in the UK. And what I was talking about the other day in regards to this chemical spill in Ohio, for those of you in Europe or wherever it may not be familiar, Ohio is a big agricultural state. You know what I mean? A lot of crops get grown. There's a lot of farmland. Conveniently, where this thing crashed was right at the water, where the water kind of converges. So a lot of the tainted water is now can affect up to 25 million Americans. Not to mention, they burn those chemicals into the atmosphere, creating acid rain. That's going to affect the crops. This morning, a friend texted me and said over 60 acres of farmland in Ohio randomly went ablaze. All this stuff also calculates into food shortage. Yeah, because if the water in the drinking water that you guys are drinking becomes tainted, that means people are going to be scrambling for bottled water. They're not going to want bottled water from Ohio because they'll probably still be using that water source. So that means bottled water will become scarce or very expensive. People will be traveling, maybe going out of state or whatever, trying to find it. You know, you got to think ahead. And if I'm wrong, you know, which I can't be wrong at this point, to be honest, because survival is absolutely necessary in this damn day and age we got going on here. Sorry. Even me here in Ghana, I'm like, yeah, I need to get my game plans together. You know what I mean? I start picking up a little extra food when I go to the shops, a little, you know, I want to get a couple extra packs of water, just start stacking up. You don't know what's coming. Okay. But what you do know is you need certain resources. You know, for those of you guys over there in the Midwest, you know, you might want to get some iodine tablets. I saw that iodine helps with radiation, you know, and also some apple juice. That's what they gave the kids at Chernobyl that have been exposed to radiation. You know what I mean? These are the kind of things. Stock up on first aid, you know, water, you know, some canned goods, some noodles or something. You know what I mean? You just need to figure it out. And if you're not versed, because a lot of us ain't versed, because the world we've grown up in, we've never lived in war times. We've always had power. We've always had amenities. We've always been able to travel, you know, so we don't know what it's like. But verse yourself. Okay. YouTube is like a great resource. Just go on there and look up Vietnam, look up Chernobyl, look up, you know, the Cold War, look up all this stuff and see what it meant. You know, look at how people that were bombed in Hiroshima, look at the effects of what that meant. Look at the UK, you know, post-World War after the Germans was bombing it. I remember when I went to Frankfurt one time, I was in transit in Frankfurt, Germany. And I went to this church, okay? And in the church was a picture of Germany post-war. And literally the church was the only thing standing. Everything else had been flattened in that area. They had been getting bombed and all that stuff from the sky. And these are the things that people have really experienced, that war, you know, could happen. And a lot of death, a lot of destruction, a lot of, you know, starvation, disease, because the life that you live with all the conveniences and all the amenities, that drastically changes when a nation gets into a conflict. You know, and even before the conflict, just look at the other current events that's happening in the US. Like I said, chemical fires, you know, farm fires, tainted water, acid rain, mass shootings. You know, all these things can affect where you are. So you need to be mindful and ready yourself. That's what I want to say. This is my own personal advice that I have already taken. That's why I'm on this side of the seat. But I tell you, I'm saying, if I was in America right now, bruh, this would be it. I probably, if I wasn't ready to go to Africa, I'll go right on down to Mexico. Real talk. I could probably hustle up some money in a month or two, or ask my mom. I would probably be telling my whole family, like, look, we just need to step out of here while stuff cools down. You know, because that's what I would do. Because see, me, I don't joke. People be like, Gina, you need to calm down. You're just a conspiracy. Bruh, listen. Woo! All I want to say is that they don't really care about us. All I want to say is that they don't really care about us. Tell me what has become of my life. We might have to listen to that afterward. That was my jam. Michael was not joking. Okay, that's a Michael Jackson song. If y'all don't know, they don't really care about us. He was sit there, everybody gone back. Everybody in the suit on the news. Everybody dog food. Don't you try to break me. All I want to say is that they don't really care about us. All I want to say is, what's up, MW? Big shout out to the family. All right. I think I have hollered at y'all enough for today. Yes. Yes, I have hollered at y'all enough for today. So I hope that this message was well received. Again, I don't want to make you be afraid or anything like that. But, you know, we talk about S&P on this channel. We talk about strategy, maturity, and patience. This is all part of that. You know what I mean? Seeing the dangers around you, seeing what is happening, and doing something about it. You know? I'm seriously going to jam to that when I get up off of here, because Michael was not playing in that song. I could see the passion in his soul, like they don't really care about us. He was all, you know. Plus, since the braids still got, y'all see that? Look, they do the braids over here in Ghana. How come I still got that fresh braid swang? It's been weeks, you know what I mean? Look at the roots. It's been weeks, but they still swinging. They still doing like that. Big shout outs. Yes. All right, family. I wish you guys the best currently. I hope all of you guys are safe. Much love to the channel. Big shout outs to any new viewers. I would say if you are new to my channel, if you watch me more than once, just do the necessary. All right. Just go ahead and subscribe because it will save you time. Okay. And obviously I'm just trying to, you know, be the messenger. I'm just trying to let y'all know what I would do in your shoes. You know, because all I want to say until we meet again, until we meet again, stay black or stay true. If you ain't black, just stay true. Please do cop the new EP. Shout outs again to Max. Max left me a comment. He loves the EP, especially Shades. I know Shades is one of my new unreleased tracks that's on the EP. It's exclusively on the EP. So big shout outs to those of you that have already purchased it. You can purchase it at bandcamp.com. Otherwise, you can't hear Shades unless you buy the EP. Yes. So please make sure you cop.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only African Superstar proudly presents the release of her first EP entitled For Every Action, There Is a Reaction, as well as this music video, which is available here on YouTube for the title track. The track is also available for streaming on all download platforms, and the EP is exclusively available for purchase at bandcamp.com. Please support independent artists and please support your African Superstar. Until we meet again.
Y'all can't say I didn't hit that high note, boy, because I was singing my ass off on that jam. Let me tell you, I was singing that. My neighbors could tell you that I'll be singing that song. I actually have 3 new songs. Yes, I need to go to the studio and record my new jams. I got 3 new songs. Do y'all want to know the names of the songs? Huh? If you want to hear the name of the songs, let me see a number 1. Yes, Lawmaker Blue, you late. Janelle, you late. I've been on for over an hour. Where the hell have you been? Hello. Hello. I want to give y'all the names of my new tracks. I wrote 3 new songs. Yes, they're so gangster too. I love them. I think you guys are going to love them. If you love For Every Action, There's a Reaction, you're going to love my new music. Y'all going to love my new music. I need to go to the studio. Okay. Brown Coat Blue, I know he's an African Superstar music lover. Yes. Yes, he is. I saw your comments, by the way, on my Audio Mac. Big shout out to everybody, guys. Yes, we did also hit 25 followers on Audio Mac. Thank you for those of you that is complicit, man. Thank you. Because it's so hard to get people nowadays to be on one accord. Yes. So thank you, all of you that have followed me on Spotify, iTunes, Audio Mac, Boomplay. All right, I'm going to just let y'all know the names of my 3 new songs. Okay? All right. I'm so excited. The first new song is called Iconic. Yes. It's a super dope, amazing track. The game plan is to actually release it on my birthday. I want to bring out new music for you guys on my birthday, which is June 26th. So I'm working on a whole nother EP. I already have 12 tracks, new music. Yes, including UK to Ghana, the song that I recorded last year. I'm just trying to get my bearings because it's so crazy. Yes. So the first song is called Iconic. Huh? Yes. The next track is called Sometimes. It's a love track. It's really nice. And then the third track is called Migrate, which is the bomb. I'm going to just let y'all hear a snip. Okay? I'm going to let y'all hear a snip. So if y'all appreciate it, I appreciate super chat for the snips so I can try to get to the studio and record my new music because I got a lot of new songs. Okay, I'm going to let y'all hear a little bit of Migrate. What? Let y'all hear a little bit of Migrate. Migrate is my jam, bro. Is my new jam. I be singing in here. I was singing it earlier today. My neighbor texted me like, okay, I hear you in there. I said, I know.
You've been looking for where you belong.
I don't know if y'all can't really hear it.
Because where you were born doesn't hold the answers. African.
Can y'all hear it?
Oh, yes. Migrate, recalibrate, liberate, celebrate. Oh, you've been looking for your home, a place you'll never be alone, a conclusion made on all your own, drawn by the things the ancestors have shown. Migrate.
Woo! Okay, guys. Oh, guys, come on. What? I can't. I haven't even gone to the studio yet. Oh man, y'all interested in the new music. Okay. All right. That track is called Migrate. Yes, big shout out GBL. I do have a show. Good idea. I forgot to mention that. I have a show here in Accra, Ghana. I'm actually going to be performing at the Galaxy Bar and Grill. I don't know if you guys remember a couple of weeks ago, I talked about a family that has moved here from St. Louis and opened up their bar and grill. And I'm actually going to be the first performance of their bar and grill. Yes. So we're going to do, I'm going to do a dynamic show with my DJ Mark. We come into Galaxy for March 6th, which is Independence Day. So for all the African Superstar family that's here in Accra, let's show up and show out. Yes. Come to the show. It's going to be dynamic. I'll be performing some of the tracks from the EP. So we're going to perform Ghana is Good for Me. We're going to perform Come Chill With Me. Yes. We're going to perform Liar 2022. Yes. And I'm still trying to debate on the other tracks that I'm going to perform. So yes. Brown Coat Blue, he treated me to a nice meal when he was here in Ghana. So I let him hear some of the unreleased music. So that's what he's talking about. He enjoyed UK to Ghana. Yes, he did get to hear UK to Ghana. Sorry, guys. I know. I can't give you all the new music. How am I going to get y'all to buy the EP if you know all the music? Y'all got to come on. But I do appreciate this super chat support because I need to go to the studio so that I can officially record, get that mix and mastered because I want to drop new music on my birthday. So for those of y'all that don't know, my birthday is June 26th. So as of now, that's the next perspective drop date. So I want to say, if you love my music, make sure you get with me on the, the streaming platforms. And I currently release my EPs at bandcamp.com exclusively. So you can't get the albums on Spotify or iTunes, no, because they'll be chopping up my money. So you can go to bandcamp.com and purchase the EP, and that goes directly to me, and they have minimum fees at that website. That's why I use that. So, if you enjoy the music, then you can get the EP and then be excited about the new music, because I have already been working on new tracks. Yes, I got a lot of new tracks. Dope. I have rap for some of you guys that like the rap. And then I have the singing for those of y'all that like to sing it. Yes, because I'm that kind of artist. I can do everything. Hello. So y'all got to hear a little bit of my great. So, all right, family. Wow. Thanks, Brown Coat Blue. Okay, yeah, look, y'all want me to go to the studio. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, family. Man, African Superstar music lovers in the building. That's what's up. Thanks, guys, so much for the love. You know, y'all know I'm on it. Y'all know I'm on the music. I'm on the music. You know what I mean? I'm grateful to this amazing gift that the ancestors gave. You know, music is like so exciting for me to be able to create songs and bring it out and people enjoy it. And, you know, I'm performing in Ghana, been on the radio. I'm like, wow, it's very impressive. So thanks so much for all of you guys that have supported so far, you know, streaming my music, purchasing my music, supporting me here on the platform, my members only, shopping with me at the website. You guys are doing a lot. Those of you that have, you know, invited me to your events to speak, or you want me to come perform at your shows, I can travel relative that, you know, the U.S. doesn't go to war. I mean, obviously I can't be coming there for any conferences during the middle of war. But I am willing to travel. That's negotiable. For those of you guys that have events and you want me to speak, or, you know, things like that, come to your school and speak to your classes, I'm down for all that. Okay. So big shout out to the family. Yes, I'm seriously going to wrap up now. We've been on here for a minute. So yes, big shout out to all of you guys that watched the playback. Make sure you leave your comments below. And again, until we meet again, stay black and true. If you ain't black, just stay true.